Hi, welcome to the 6th grade Early Adopters Data Collection Orientation video. I'd like to start with the same note about student confidentiality that I've used in earlier videos. However, not to repeat myself, I'm going to ask you, if you have not watched the kindergarten video, to watch about the first minute and a half of that, as it will explain student identifier construction and how those maintain student confidentiality. This is the 6th grade tab of the spreadsheet. The 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade tabs are set up very similarly to the 6th grade tab. In this one, we will record both screening information as well as progress monitoring information for students for whom we're doing intervention. Screening information will record for all our students. So on the 6th grade page of our new Personalized Learning in Math site, we have screening information. Of course, iStation ISIP is our universal screener that we use beginning, middle, and end of year. It has its own norms and it records its own data online, so I don't really feel the need to capture that data in this spreadsheet. What's new are the computational fluency screener and problem solving screener. The computational fluency screener you may recognize as looking like our old progress monitors for computational fluency, but we've taken off the time limit for this and have students do this only once. And so you have this one-time screener that students take. You grade it according to correct digits. That's what the highlighting is about. And then you record the number of correct digits in the spreadsheet. So for instance, in this case, you would record the number of correct digits for each of the students from that computational screener. We also have the problem-solving screener. We're going to look at it, but we'll also talk about its data. So the problem-solving screener looks very much star formatted, and because it is that way, we're going to do its data collection through DMAC. And so the key for the problem-solving screeners mentions the DMAC key for it. For the 6th grade one, there are too many open-ended questions that have the students construct their response as opposed to picking from A, B, C, or D. And so in trying to construct a Scantron for it, we weren't really able to do it, so I would advise you to only do online entry for the 6th grade one. For 3rd through 5th, we were able to make that work, but for 6th grade, we couldn't get it to work, and so I would say only do online entry for the 6th grade one. But hey, everybody's got a device, so you could do online entry even for 3rd, 4th, or 5th grade. So that data is collected through DMAC, and so just like iStation ISIP is collected somewhere else, since this data is collected somewhere else, I don't really feel the need to put it in this spreadsheet, so that's why that note is there. And so as we look at what the spreadsheet will be like when it's sent out, these columns may not be here. We'll see. Okay, so now that we have all this screening data for our students, both iStation along with computation and problem solving, then we look at who might be in need of intervention. Even though the data is not recorded here for the student in this row, the problem-solving screening data was fairly low, and so it was determined that this particular student would need to have intervention in problem-solving, and therefore we would be using a problem-solving monitor with this student. For the student in this row, the computation score was very low in comparison to other students, and so it was determined that this student would need intervention in computation, and therefore we would use a computation progress monitor with this student. All that progress monitor information can be found below the universal screening information on our website. And so as we look at the progress monitoring tools that are available for this grade level, and remember these are built so that all this is tier 2. If we had a student who was tier 3, we would go to a lower grade level, which we did for this student in one of the students in this example. So we have computational fluency monitors that are keyed to the grade level below's text and the grade level you're on's text. And so we have addition, subtraction, and addition, subtraction mixed, multiplication, division mixed, and then all 4 operations mixed. Depending on what the student's need is, you use the monitor that's most appropriate for that student. Okay. As I click on one of these, you'll see that it gets me to a folder where those progress monitors live. And you have 5 different progress monitors that progress monitor the same thing, but with different numbers and their keys that are right there for you. And so you have 5 different instances. So as we have this student who is having intervention on computation. For this particular student, it's multiplication, level H, and that's where we went down. You may have noticed that the multiplication screeners available on the 6th grade page were level I, and so we just leveled down to the 5th grade page to get the level H ones for multiplication. So what I would ask teachers to record here is the level of the progress monitor, and I'm looking for that lettered level. For computation progress monitors, what operation or operations are being used in the monitor, in this particular case, multiplication. Which progress monitor number it is it number 1, is it number 5, somewhere in between? And then how many correct digits the student scored on that particular computation progress monitor. So this student is starting with the multiplication monitor, scored 15 correct digits. The next time we monitor the students, and if they are tier 2, we monitor every other week. If they are receiving tier 3 intervention, we monitor every week. And so either, since the student is significantly below grade level using a tier 3 level monitor, the next week, when the student takes the next progress monitor number 2, we record the number of correct digits the student scored and keep on going. Notice from week to week, we go 15 correct digits to 19 to 26. The student's making progress, which means we have done a good job in looking at what kinds of intervention lessons we would use with the student based on what their needs were. Okay, so for instance, this isn't what correlates, but just to give you an example, we would look at what the student had difficulty with, what lessons are available readily for us to use with that student, and then what progress monitor could we then use with the student after having conducted those lessons. Now, those lessons might take longer than just a single week or even 2 weeks of intervention. So you might be monitoring while you're still doing some of those lessons. Okay. For the problem-solving side, let's look at some problem-solving monitors. So I could go, for instance, to reporting category 1. And all the reporting category 1 monitors are here with the tests and their keys. Sometimes the titles are a little long, so you might have to hover over to see which one's the progress monitor and which one's the key. And what we would ask to be recorded is the level of the progress monitor, in this case level T, which reporting category for the problem-solving monitors, in this case reporting category 2, which progress monitor number we're using, progress monitor 1 in this case, and then the percent correct the student scores on that progress monitor, in this case 50% correct. And then as we keep monitoring the student, whether they're tier 2, and it looks like the student is, so we're operating just below grade level, and so we were monitoring every other week. So here's the first week we did a progress monitor. 2 weeks later, progress monitor, same score. A couple weeks later, okay, now we're starting to see just a little bit of movement. Do we continue to have movement upward? Do we need to change what progress monitor is? That's the kind of data we'd be recording in this spreadsheet. Notice not every student has progress monitoring data recorded, because if the student is not receiving intervention, we wouldn't be using a progress monitor with them. So we only record progress monitoring data for students who are receiving intervention, and we record screener data for all our students. Thank you for taking the time to view this orientation video.